Welcome back to the Code Yellow podcast, where we talk about relationships from the lens of scripture and good old common sense. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so make sure you join the train, join the family, like, share, and subscribe if you like what we bring. And just a little shout out, this is the 20th episode of season 2 and the final episode of season 2. Confetti. Use, AI to generate.
Right.
Yeah. So we're super excited. This has been a phenomenal journey. I love these people. Yes. But we're going to jump into our icebreaker question. Zav, go for it.
All right. Dang. Can you believe season 2? Like, we're done. It's wild. Like, drops mic. All right. So because this is our last episode of season 2, I want y'all to brag on yourselves. You only have 15 seconds, but I want you to brag on yourself like so hard. I'm not going to go first. Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to brag on myself. All right. All right. Y'all got to give me the 15-second countdown. All right. So in the culmination of this season, I've done a lot of great things. I have started a college tour. I did a college tour. I'm still doing a college tour. I've been consistent in the gym. I have taken care of my baby and tried to be a great, amazing husband and show up and be present with you guys every time I'm here. So I have been that, and that's my 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Tremendously successful.
Hey,
yes, you nailed it all.
Yes, sir. He's doing a great job. I'm proud of him.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm a new mommy. So one of the things is just being a dedicated, committed, hardworking mom, being there for my daughter, hitting those developmental milestones and celebrating that. Also, I am a certified level 1 in gold Zumba instructor for older active adults, rehabilitated adults. So that's something I'm really looking forward to doing. And let's see. That's all I have for now.
Hey, that's good. That's good.
And that's awesome
now,
for you because you're a dancer.
Yes,
right?
I am a dancer. Yes.
Yeah, it's right up your alley.
It's fun.
It'll be great.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. I started the season off engaged. Mm-hmm. So now I'm married. I'm about 4.5 months into marriage. I feel like I am getting this wife thing down. Right. I think I'm doing a really good job per my husband's
review
encouragement. Yes, his quarterly review. So that I was doing a good job. I feel like I've evolved. I feel like I've grown as a person. I've learned, like, as you guys always say, marriage is such a learning experience. I feel like I'm learning. I feel like I'm taking the constructive criticism I need to be not just a good wife, but a good person. I think I've been a great friend. And I just love myself. I'm really proud of myself. And
that's good. I'm really glad to hear that, Annie.
That's great.
So I have 2 main things that I want to brag on myself for. Mm-hmm. One is that I've grown as a husband, leader, those leadership type things, in the sense that I've released myself of the need to be 100% right and to make people 100% happy. I've kind of released myself of that. And that's let me kind of see much more clearly where I need to go and what I need to do. And also, I have a very expensive birthday gift coming up for myself next year.
What a gift is that?
It's a baby! So yes, the lovely lady that you saw a couple episodes ago, my wife, Martha, we are expecting.
Congratulations.
We find out very soon if it's a boy or a girl. Yes. So we'll see who the newest member of the Code Yellow podcast family is going to be.
Yeah. We're so excited.
I love that every season we've had a baby.
That's crazy, right?
Like, just our families are expanding, like, right before our audiences.
Is that a premonition?
Is
that
season 3?
Season 20.
We started this season off with our announcement that baby girl ride, and now we're wrapping up the season with your announcements. That's really
love
cool.
that.
So Zena's gonna have a playmate.
Yes. Oh Lord. That's our icebreaker. Anyway, so speaking of parenthood, we're actually going to be talking a little bit about how parents, dads and moms, affect boys and girls and their future relationship prospects. Parents have so much say over us as we grow. and so much impact that almost we might not even realize until we're trying to get out in the dating scene. So have you seen like from a distance, you know how like people will say, oh, he's a mama's boy or she's a daddy's girl. Like what's y'all perception on that? Like,
I think it's important to, like, if you are a mama's boy or a daddy's girl, to kind of like, I mean, not say let it be known, because if your, significant other spends enough time with you, they'll see like, oh, man, that girl don't play about her daddy, or, he don't play about his mom, or whatever the case may be. But I think that those relationships, those familial relationships are very important. It's just, it needs to be regulated when you do get married. Right. I think that's just, Pops can't be coming over whenever he wants to, or mom can't be driving by for, some milk or whatever the case may be. Like, I know, who still drinks milk anyway? I mean, just...
me with my cereal.
Real milk or almond milk?
Almond milk, yeah.
Okay, that's what I meant. Like, if you're still drinking real milk in 2020... A year of our Lord.
Real milk, because I feel like people already say like plant-based was not, is fake.
Okay, you're right.
Cow's milk.
If you
it's
still
all
drink
real.
Right.
I feel like if you still,
it's real to me.
I know for a fact if you still drink cow's milk, you tend to have stuffed up sinuses.
Mucus, inflammation. Yeah.
Apparently that's
so
not a thing. So they say.
Wait,
no,
what?
It is.
Hey, I don't know if I believe it. I say it, right?
It's a real thing. Like when I gave up dairy, like it alleviated so much of my sinus pressure. Yeah, no, it's real. The mucus, that's why singers don't. You mean, you're a singer, Yes.
So when I learned that, I had seen something like, must have been playing a trivia game, and it was like, oh, true or false? Does milk make you have mucus? And it said false on the card. And I didn't really believe it, but I was wondering if it's like a confirmation bias thing. Because I've sung on an empty stomach, and I felt kind of funny in my throat. And I sung after eating ice cream and mac and cheese, and I was great. Right? So
I still feel like it can affect everyone differently, but I found out, when I used to be on a praise team at church, I was always clearing my throat, and I didn't know why. And I thought it was sinus drip. And then I actually started to pay attention. Every time I would eat ice cream or yogurt, immediately I would have to clear my throat. Stop eating dairy. I don't have that issue anymore. I have allergies, so that's going to happen. But I was literally clearing my throat 365 days of the year, and I'm like, I don't have allergies the whole year. And I couldn't put two and two together. So I would eat froyo and immediately have to start clearing my throat. So I don't know. I'm just saying.
I believe it.
Random. Why isn't froyo like a thing anymore? Like, remember back then?
We used to be...
Like, we used to stay at froyo spots, but they like all. So now they
kind of dissipated.
They dissipated, but me and Jasmine, we have an elevated palate. Y'all supposed to laugh, but I mean, it's the truth. But no.
It's not. I think he just bashed peanut butter jelly and applesauce on another episode anyway.
No, that's why, because my palate is elevated. I like it. But we are like gelato fiends. Do y'all like gelato?
Yeah, I love gelato.
Gelato has replaced froyo.
Yeah.
Listen.
Gelato's deserves the hype.
Yeah.
Ooh, and you guys went to Italy, right?
Listen.
Yeah, the real
period.
gelato.
Yeah, I was like, period.
The real gelato.
Like that. Man, we went all the way off top of it. Anyway, when we went to Italy, the pizza did not meet the standard I was hoping for. The pasta did meet the standard I was hoping for. Gelato far exceeded. Wow.
Didn't you want it every time you saw it? Because it's so good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Taj and I are going in June. I'm so excited.
Listen.
Yeah.
Hey, just it don't even matter. In Rome, all the gelato's good.
Okay.
All the gelato's good. Doesn't matter where you get it.
Okay.
Like in
We're
Milan,
going to Rome.
I went to a train. We went to a train station gelato place in Milan. It was subpar.
Okay.
And Milan is kind of more like, where you go to shop. Kind of feels like non-Italy, but it's in Italy.
Okay.
It's weird. Rome is, Like I didn't have breakfast. I went and had gelato before we went on the Colosseum tour. And then I had it. It was great. We went to the exact same spot after the tour and I had the exact same thing again that same day.
Was that delicious?
Wow. It was that good. It was that good. Hey.
Well, to get it back on topic, because that's important too. Like,
yes.
The tangent was important.
Yes.
Now that we have it out of our system. So one of the things that I think, like Zah was saying, you should kind of make it be known. And I know, like, hearing someone say, like, mama's boy might have, like, a negative connotation. But if you don't mind me saying, I consider Zav a mama's boy in a good way, though. I felt like
What?
no.
Talk about it.
No, I'm about to clarify.
Okay.
Not the negative, like when you hear like mama's boy, because when someone says daddy's girl, they're like, oh, a daddy's girl doesn't have the same meaning as like mama's boy.
Yeah,
so
no,
that's why I want to
right.
clarify for a second.
Sure.
So I feel like mama's boy on the surface has a negative connotation. However, when I thought of it as far as you, Zav, like you're somebody that I feel like has like a very good relationship with your mom. You respect your mom or have you. So and you're close to your mom. That's what I mean when I say not like a person who's like, oh, you a mama's boy. Like,
Yeah.
like in that, like what
Like,
we think
we'll
of.
let her go.
Right,
Like,
right.
Okay, I was about
So
to say,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
I was like, I'm not
so,
like the.
So even just with not using the term, what I will say, I think it's really important when you're dating, getting to know someone, and you want to take it to the next step, is really taking the time to observe the relationships, the relationship that the person of interest or your significant other has with their family members. And I say family members because everyone's parents may not be in their lives that way, or they may not be close to their parents. But if they are, what is their relationship like with, like if your guy, what is the relationship like with his mother? That's really important. And father, because that's going to speak a lot to, that doesn't mean they're going to be exactly like their parent, but whatever the dynamic is, it is going to have an impact in the relationship. That's true.
Sure.
Even if it's how I decide to show up and strengthen myself because of maybe there was a lack in the parental dynamic. So yeah, I think that it was important to me, like what is his relationship like with his mom, because I feel like that's going to say a lot to how he treats me as his wife and as a mother of his child or what have you.
Yeah.
And vice versa. I hope that he looked to see like what was the relationship like with my family, like father absenteeism. So we talked a lot about that while we were dating and how that how does that show up in my life, and he was really big on like, hey, let's make sure like that part of you is healed or this and that, because it also affects like how I show up in a relationship, how I view, the man in my life, or before, like when I was dating, I feel like that impacted how I was dating. Another thing, I look forward to seeing how Zav impresses upon Zenith dating and like the expectation, because I didn't get some of those things. Like, yeah, my mom told me things here and there, but I feel like it's different when you're like explicitly getting it from a male as you're dating males. Like what is that like? Like I feel like there were some things that my brother didn't get like directly on like how to date because of our familial dynamic. Like it's one thing to get it from your mom, because our mom was our main parent, but like to get it from your dad, and vice versa. I look forward to impressing certain things upon my daughter that may be received differently because I'm a woman, right? And she's going to be a young lady and a woman one day. Like she can receive it differently, or I may have a different insight than her dad, but there are things that her dad is going to be able to impress upon her that, because he knows from the male perspective. So like, I really look forward to that.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And as Jasmine was talking, I think I mentioned this on the podcast before. I heard this and it just is like etched in my brain that your mom affirms you, like, because that's what moms do. They're nurturing. They not have to affirm you, but your moms affirm you. But your dad, your pops, your daddy, he comes in and confirms it. So he puts the bow on the top. Because like, yeah, my mom, we feel like our moms kind of have to say that. Our moms most moms are loving, and they you can do anything you want to, but when your dad comes, it just hits so much differently. And so mom affirms, dad confirms, but you two grew up with your dad in your house. We did not. Would you say that was like your reality? Would you agree with that statement? Or Devin, you're about to be a dad. Like, do you think that just like makes sense?
It makes sense. I think it's one of the. It's not to diminish at all.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's kind of like one of those different ways that people kind of like make a really complex phenomenon kind of more simple. Kind of almost like a cute way of saying the impact of dad versus moms, right? I think that there's so much more to affirmation and confirmation, and like who. Like, oh, the mom makes you look within and your dad makes you look out. Like that different, platitudes and whatever. I'm still trying to digest all of it.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out what kind of parent I'm going to be. I think that, I kind of just approach a lot of things you already know, kind of more scientifically. I think I'm going to approach raising my child almost like a science experiment. And I think it's gonna let me learn my child so well that I'm going to be able to help direct them to the place where they want. And that's the only place my head is right now. Like learning Martha as she's growing, and then thinking about, okay, all these potential situations, like what is it gonna look like? How am I gonna show up? And that's where my head is at. It's in a whole lot of different places. So I don't even know if I answered your question. I'm just like,
No, you did. Yeah. That was great. Andy, what do you think? Like the affirm from like you grew up with your dad in your house. Like, did you experience that? Do you agree with that statement?
I do think to an extent I agree. I think though it really does also depend on like what your parents' dynamic is that kind of shapes, because some people assume like two parents being in the household, it's like, oh, but not every like two parent dynamic is like healthy. And so I think my dad, oddly enough, I think my dad more for me was more the nurturer and kind of like the person who put like, or tried to put a lot of identity and comfort more in me. And then my mom was more like the like bow, if like, yeah,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make
But I
sense.
think like that just more is a reflection of their personalities. Because if you meet, I mean, you guys know my dad, he's very soft spoken, very much like extremely logical. So he always approached parenting like I always felt like understood to an extent, because he never went about things like, it wasn't like an emotional place. He was just like, I mean, she's a child and she's learning, so let me just teach. It was like easier for him to be like, okay, versus like, yeah, versus like my other dynamic. So yeah.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, I remember asking my dad, "Oh, how do I pick somebody to be my wife?" I don't remember if that's exact words I used.
How old were you?
I was just about to ask that. Yeah.
Definitely, like if not around 10, like
So you're probably in your teens or something.
No, I don't think it's. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just when I was
A young lad.
a young lad, not independent by a long shot. This is before. Had to have been before I got with Martha, like quite a while before. I remember I got with her when I was like 18, right? So imagine I could have been anywhere from 10 to 14, let's say. He said, "Find a woman that looks like your mom." And I didn't get it fully, I think, until like I was actually married and like we started growing together, and then now we're pregnant, right? It was just like I just felt it more and more acutely. So I told Martha, I was like, I know my son's gonna ask, how do I find? And I'm gonna tell him to find somebody like your mom, like, because I would want my son to have a woman like Martha. She's sweet, caring, nurturing, very skilled domestically, also very intelligent, and very like. There's a lot of positives about her, right? So it just going back to, I guess, the core concept of all that. Who you end up with is informed by who your parents are, because you almost like and how you relate to women is kind of reflective of how you relate to your mom as a man. And I think that the similar works for girls and their dads. How she sees him is how she's gonna see other men in a way, and also how she's gonna see God.
So I have a question. So what do you think, or like for all of you, how do you think that reflects in like the women today, the generalization of the women today versus the generalization of a lot of men today? Like, what do you think that kind of signifies as far as like what they might have been raised as?
So I think that today's society and media I honestly think it's a plan of the devil to fracture families as much as possible.
I agree.
So you even look at sitcoms. How often does a husband just seem like an idiot? And the wife is the one running the show who apparently knows everything, and the husband knows nothing,
Right.
and the kids are not under control. Or you see shows that glorify somebody having sex with a different person every week, or with every season of the show, they're with another person that they're in love with, and then like it's just so little order to relationships, and there's so little structure in families that of course, nobody has a good model of what to look for. So then you have no standards of, okay, what should I expect from somebody that wants to be with me or wants to marry me or who I want to marry? So then people just guessing.
Yeah.
People just guessing without anything, without any track record of something that works. And that's not everybody, obviously, but that's enough people.
Yeah.
So even for our Black community, stereotypically, because there's lots of broken non-Black families, but Black people were systematically separated and broken apart, like given slavery in America, So like there wasn't okay, this is what dad is supposed to be like. This is what mom is supposed to be like. And then the economic situation is that we just trying to survive, so this not really, I think I lost track.
I think
I definitely heard you.
Yeah, in that same vein, I think that when there is a deficit, it's just acted out like, because I didn't experience this, I'm from my mom or from my dad, I'm going to seek it out in other places. And I think that is what we're seeing a lot, especially in the younger generation. And dare I say, even the millennials, it's just like, why are you a millennial or older Gen Z and acting like you're 18 years old? You know what I mean? Like, that's where the problem comes in at. And it's that deficit of, what my mom never, and it's like, it doesn't even have to be said. It's my mom never did this, or I never had a dad. I'm going to, with all due respect, get on OnlyFans, right? Looking for love in all the wrong places. And that's why the enemy, over the years, he has done quite a number on not only the Black family, the Christian family, or families in general. Whereas it's like, oh yeah, y'all don't need to be together, or you have a interesting family, or a new family, or an odd family, or a family where and there's nothing wrong with having like your grandmother raising you, if your mom or dad or whomever is unable to. But I think people oftentimes go to like the lack and then act out of the lack. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's something that's honestly, it kind of hurts me a little bit. I'd love for there to be just more strong examples of two people that actively chose to love each other together and work together in a healthy way, right? I'm very glad that therapy is less stigmatized now.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember I was, you guys might remember Justin and Cherie. They actually hosted a little like pilot kind of marriage series at their house. And there was an older couple that was talking about something. I don't quite remember what they were talking about that time. If I think about it, it'll come to me. But I had mentioned how I had gone to therapy and and it was almost like they were like shocked, kind of like, and it was like, thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing. And I'm like, huh?
Right, because everybody our age goes to therapy. Right.
Yeah. Well, not enough people.
It's
But,
more
Right,
common,
a lot is
yeah.
more common than their generation, for sure.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that?
What were we talking
The
about?
deficit, the marriage, the preparation.
And you were saying that like it hurts your
Yes.
heart to see.
Yeah. So I'm being a new parent and you guys are doing it on the same journey. What are you kind of trying to set up as, I guess, safeguards, or like, what are you guys trying to provide for your daughter that are going to set her up to be loved right and to love right when she's older?
I would say definitely number one being the example at home. Her seeing affection between us. Wanting her to know like her parents are like on the same team. Also supporting each other. Seeing that in the various ways, like us supporting each other professionally, supporting each other's authority in the home. And I want her to definitely see me submitting, to his leadership. That's important. That's not something I necessarily got to see growing up. So I've been learning this thing on my own, learning it biblically and learning from mentors who've been doing it longer than me in marriage, healthy marriage. And also having real talks with her, but also showing her like her identity in Christ. And so as she matures, and that she'll want to, that she will beget like-minded people as well in her friendships and romantic interests, and just having like real conversations with her and at appropriate times where we can be real with her and really teach her like these are the things that we want to encourage you to look for when you're getting to know people, whether again friendships, romantic relationships, so that she's looking for character that reflects hers as well, as we've been, we want to instill that in her. So starting young, like Zav affirms her, and not saying I don't, but I think it's just different as her dad, and what she's going to be exposed to, especially with television. I took in so much television as a child, and I feel like I learned things about things very early that I had no business knowing about. And so we've been very intentional with her already with like what she is taking in. And it does take, I think definitely takes an effort, concerted effort, but it's worth it. And so continuing that as well. What do you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I definitely think prayer. I think that's like the foundation. I'm not saying like that my parents or my village didn't do that for me, but probably not, right? But not intentionally. Y'all know me, like I'm so intentional. And so how I plan on setting my daughter up for success, I literally, since she was a couple months old, hold her in front of the mirror and I'm speaking life over, and I'm speaking affirmations. Tangent, one of my friends' grandmother passed and she was just like, our words are like matter, right? And so like I believe my grandmother's prayers are still going to God, and God is still answering those prayers, right? Because I'm not a scientist, but atoms, words, something, I don't know, whatever she said. Whatever she said. And so I believe that the affirmations that I'm speaking over my daughter at 3 months, at 5 months, at 7 months, I believe that will carry her through. I believe the prayers, I pray for her every night. God will send his hedge of protection around her every single night. Also, just using my network, I'm doing what, with all due respect, what other cultures do as well. Like she is not going to, I always tell Jasmine, because we grew up a way that our daughter probably won't grow up. She's not going to like be lacking. And I'm not talking about money, financial. I'm talking about lacking in relationship. Y'all know me, relationship currency is so important. So, oh yeah, my daughter is interested in this. Oh, my daughter wants to be a dentist. Aunt Martha is a dentist. Like, yes, she will shout at her at 5 years old. I'm going to be so intentional, more intentional than my parents were with me, of course, in a way to set her up so she's not behind the 8 ball. You know what I mean? In every area of her life. Yeah, we're Black and we going to be behind the 8 ball in some things, but like the areas that we can help it, oh yeah, like money management, diet, Jasmine and I watched a lot of TV growing up. Let's read more books. We have mutual friends. Andy knows them. That children are reading college literature at like 10 years old, right? And so again, it's not easy, but it takes intention. And it takes looking at, I like to pride myself as a man of being a visionary and just setting a vision for my family. And I feel like you're the same way, Devin and Annie and Jasmine, all of us are visionaries, but setting that vision for how we want our child's life to go. Of course, it's not going to look like perfect and it's not going to go exactly how we think, but we have the plan. We have the blueprint. We have what it is that we set out to do. So that's what I'm doing in order to set my daughter and my future children up for success.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Like, I guess we don't have much time left, but I think one of the main things I want my child to be able to see from me is the fact that nothing is out of reach. That's what I want. Like, so like I can't ever accept that there's something I can't do. So like if I decide I want to be able to do this, like I cook, I can clean, I can do all these things. And then I want to be able to say, oh, if there's something I set my eyes on, Devin, will get it and will achieve it. And that they will see that and be like, my dad was able to do this from zero. That means that I know that at least I can get somewhere. Yeah. If I put my mind to it.
That's grit. Like, that's grit. Like pushing through. And, you know, people say, you know, pundits and people on social media say that this generation doesn't have grit. Like, oh, it doesn't work out for me. I'm just going to give up. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I didn't get this job. I didn't get this opportunity. So you have that, Devin. You're going to pass it over to your children. They're going to get that, bro. They're going to get that grit. Like, we're going to push through. Like, my dad has grit. My mom has grit. I'm going to persevere. Yeah, it's going to be hard.
No, but it's going to take your children very far.
Yes.
To have that.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you have want to share any last thoughts? Close out the season for us?
I don't know. I'm really grateful to watch and learn from you guys, like as you guys expand. I think, you know, for the people who may not have like the best relationship with your parents, it's like, at one point in my life, I always was scared. At one point, I didn't even want kids because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to pass down. I don't know if I have enough like knowledge or like life experience and stuff to pass anything down. But I think friends can be teachers too. And I've learned so much from you guys, and I am not scared for whatever chapter God brings my way.
I'm going to cry.
Don't.
I'm not going to cry.
If you need to.
But the fact that he even connected to the sentiment, I feel this is great.
This is a news op.
It is.
I love you guys. I really do.
We love you too.
We love you guys. For sure.
So here's some new chapters. Here's some new seasons. And here's to being the parents that we need to be, that God wants us to be for our current and future, and, you know, in the far future, children.
I said thank you.
Or maybe by season 3.
That's what I'm claiming, but I'm just saying.
Whatever God wants.
Whatever God wants.
Okay.
Yeah. But as we close this little season, we're going to take a little break, rest and reconfigure, and then you'll see us back to do the same lovely conversations at a higher and higher level.
Yeah.
As always, heal responsibly. See you next time.
Peace. Hey, season 2, baby.
Yay.